Hello everybody, and welcome on back to Battleborn. It's been a while since we uploaded a video for this, but they released a new character, Alani. So I figured we'd go ahead and upload a new video going over this kind of character and kind of give my thoughts on Battleborn in general while we kind of go, through things. But anyway, so to give you a general idea of what Alani is, basically she is a new caster. It's a little bit of a healer, a little bit of a magic caster. She can heal her allies, heal herself a little bit, and she mostly just spams the hell out of abilities. If you build her right, then she's just constantly spamming her attacks, and it can get pretty ridiculous pretty fast. And we're going to be playing on Overgrowth, as they made a few changes to the Overgrowth. So we'll be going through that. Pretty much every single team now has an Alani because everyone wants to play the new character. So let's go ahead and go over our skills here. We've got Osmosis, which whenever we use Torrent and we hit somebody, which is our left click ability, we're gonna start filling up those bubbles. Those bubbles we can use to heal people, or if we're not focusing anybody, we can just heal ourselves as well. So that's pretty cool. We also have a little geyser that we can use to catch people, and a nice little wave. So let's go ahead and look over our first ability here. We're going to have either Splash Zone or Soothing Mist. We're going to go with Soothing Mist. That way we can heal our little friends here with a little wave, and we're going to grab some shards here. Now, recently they've made a few balance changes over to Battleborn. For example, Galilea got a pretty significant nerf, and as well did Galt. But I feel like there is a few issues with some of those changes. Number one, it feels like when I pick up both barrels blazing, now that slugs have drop-off, significantly so, when you pick both barrels blazing, it almost feels like you get the double effect of drop-off, if that even makes sense. So, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. I still feel like there's a lot of balance changes that are still needed inside of... I feel like there's a lot of changes that are still needed inside of Battleborn here, and you can kind of see that when you hit somebody with that geyser effect, you're going to be... There we go. I'll give it a little heal there. You're going to throw them up in the air, and they kind of just sit there inside of that bubble. It's starting to feel like Alani is a very powerful character, almost too powerful, but I guess with a new character comes with, some interesting balance issues, I guess is the best way to put it. And we'll just kind of keep looking around here. There are a few changes that I really do feel like need to be made inside of Battleborn. Number one, the ability to actually see, to get a general idea of how much health people have. Now that I've been playing a little bit of Overwatch, and healing as Mercy, it's definitely a lot easier to pull off heals over there because you get little notifications like, hey, this person's at critical health and could use your assistance and things like that. So I'd like to see, hopefully, a couple changes in that aspect to make healing just a tiny bit easier. And we've got to throw her up there. We might be able to get a kill there, so that's actually really nice. We're going to go ahead and put a heal on our Wrath here. And now we've leveled up. Once we hit level 3 is when things start getting a little ridiculous with Alani. So level 2, we're going to go ahead and go Surface Tension, which one target hit by Geyser will take additional damage. And I actually bought the wrong skill, so way to go me. I was like, yeah, that's the one I want. Alright, not going to pick it. Oh, I thought she would walk back into that. Geyser does have a little bit of a charge up time, so it can be a little bit difficult to... it can be a little bit difficult to hit people with that, depending on... Ooh, here we go. Now, even if you don't have any Osmosis stacks, you can kind of just keep spamming your right-click, but it doesn't really do too much healing. The problem that I have with Alani is that we were pretty much given a healer, which is something that we needed inside of Battleborn. I just wish we had more dedicated healers. As of right now, we pretty much still only have Miko. He has a dedicated right-click ability that does a heal. And yes, Alani does have a little bit of a burst heal here, but it's not as effective as just having a straight-on healer. I was kind of hoping we might be able to have something a little bit more. Someone that isn't Miko. And the fact that it's also Eldred. I don't know why, but I really kind of wish that there was a healer for each class. That way each kind of faction could be, you know, self-sufficient by themselves. Because as it stands right now, if you were to do a full team of each faction, it's, well, it's interesting to say the least. Let's just put it that way. Trying to do a full-on group with that many people, it does not work. And it doesn't appear that they are taking their shards here. Hopefully this will end up hitting the Galilea so we can get a little bit of damage in there. There we go. And we're still trying to hit level 3 here so we can get our abilities going. But as far as the streaming side of things, they have been slightly improving, you know, how exactly it kind of appears. Because as of right now, it's incredibly difficult to actually stream this game. Like, I like Battleborn. But I find myself streaming Overwatch a lot more simply for the fact that I know they're not the same game. I know they're not similar, but I find myself playing a lot more Overwatch rather than Battleborn just for the simple fact that, well, Battleborn's a little bit of a clusterfuck when you think about it. It seriously is. It's got stuff going around everywhere, man. Like, it destroys bitrate. It's really hard to stream this game at 3500 bitrate because it just becomes a pixelated mess on source. So that's something I would like to see changed. Now, they did end up doing some buff changes to the minions over here. They stopped, you know, kind of focusing the players and just dying instantly. They'll actually just kind of make a mad dash for your sentry, so it feels a little bit less tanky. I didn't really show it off, but I'm actually going to go ahead and do that now. They did get rid of these little wonderful little things here, the little sniper purchase, so now you're no longer going to have the good old marquee cheese every single time that you want to try and, you know, play these things. So there's only one way up now, and you can't just kind of, you know, sit there forever, which I kind of like that little bit of a change. Battleborn, I feel like it's making its way, up, you know. I have a couple opinions on this. Number one, I really do feel like this game should not have tried to launch with Overwatch, because I feel like Overwatch kind of ate this game. That's pretty much what happened. Also, I don't know what. Oh god, there's a Galilea. Okay, this is bad. Oh, okay, that's still a thing. I don't feel like the quick melee in this game should launch you that far. You know, there's these issues like that, where basically I can just go bam, and I can depending on the angle that I hit them, I can launch them so far away, which is kind of ridiculous depending on, you know, what you end up are going up against. Especially when you can spam it like this. Some characters can spam their quick melee in such rapid succession that it does so much damage to them. Like, if I get someone in a corner and start doing this, it's crazy, dude. Oh, that's the wrong ability. There we go. Alright, so we've almost got all of our gear here. We ended up picking the legendary attack speed because we're going to be doing a lot of torrent spam. Because we want to try and get ourselves... high attack speed for this next skill over here. So let's go ahead, do all this. So when you hit level 3, you can choose Whitewater, which increases your attack speed, or go with the flow. It doesn't tell you, but it doubles the length of your cooldown. So it takes twice as long now for your cooldowns to actually take effect, but the benefit here is that every single time you hit something, your cooldown gets reduced by half a second here. Oop, this is probably bad. Nope, we're good. So yeah, every time I hit somebody, my cooldown's going to keep constantly reduced. And you can kind of see what I mean by the whole, you're going to start spamming like crazy. And we're actually going to pick up these shards here so I can pick up my last piece of gear. We're pretty much focused on ability spam. That's more or less what we're going to be doing here. And now that we have all of our gear, we can kind of focus on building stuff and try and get more experience. This is kind of how I end up playing Alani. I'll give you a little heal. a tiny little heal. I can't do much for you, man.
Our foes have moved on a Thrall mercenary camp.
There we go. So you can kind of see just like my cooldowns are just going down rapidly. And this also affects my ultimate. So if I have my ultimate, I can just throw it down whenever I want pretty much, and it'll be back in about 20 seconds. Okay, so we can either go ride the wave, which means we'll ride the wave whenever we, launch a wave forward, which I don't really like that ability. It looks cool, but in actual play, it's honestly pretty terrible. Instead, we're going to put a slow on them because riding the wave is just going to put us in a very bad situation. And there's no limit there, as you can see, to just how many people you can throw up in the air. If they get hit by the geyser, then, they're just going to have a bad time. And we just used a geyser, but it's already back up now because of the build that we're using here. And we've got a nice little wave. So once you start getting your build going like this, also it can be a little annoying sometimes to actually heal yourself when you need it. You have to look straight up because if you're targeting anybody, you heal them. So it can be kind of annoying to try and do that. Uh-oh. There we go. So we've got a nice little bit of ability spam going on with Alani now. And we can just kind of keep doing this constantly. Again, looking straight up so that way we can actually heal ourselves here. And we're putting slows on the enemies. We're keeping the line pushed back here. I'm probably going to die because I got hit by a geyser. I didn't see that it was on the ground there, but you get a general idea of how exactly to play this character. You're really good at holding a lane with this character once you hit level 3 and have decent attack skill buffs. So now we can start, making sure that they can't really push forward. And this is kind of one of the issues that I have with Incursion in general, because Incursion's one lane. There is no side lane. I really feel that Battleborn would have done a lot better if there were 2 lanes to kind of attack the enemy on. As it stands right now, there's 1. And it just becomes a nice little tug of war of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and so on and so forth. And it can be a little, kind of stalemate-ish half the time, depending on the team composition. I definitely do feel like that could definitely be a little bit improved there. And Thorn's doing massive damage to me because Thorn does a lot of damage with her little blight ability. I unfortunately was standing inside of that. Now, once we get our ult is when pretty much the spamming begins. Because we're going to be able to just put down a massive, absolutely massive AoE on the ground. It basically does as much damage as a Rendi's nuke, but does it over a short period of time, but basically does the same amount of damage. So it's like, here's a nuke in this giant area. So you're going to kind of see just how strong this really is. And we're going to try and get a geyser on this. There we go. We're going to try and get a geyser on him real quick. Put a slow on him. We can't really do much. I don't know what I just healed right there. I think I was targeting somebody. Unfortunately. Yeah, I was targeting somebody there. I wonder how well... Yeah, I can just keep spamming this. So we're going to just do that. There we go. There we go. We'll just spam that ability. Okay, so now we've got healing with osmosis stacks. Reduces the amount of damage taken by 30%. Oh, they already nerfed that. Okay. Well, yesterday it was a 100%. So they've already made a balance change to that. And they've destroyed our turret, apparently, because I wasn't paying attention to the fact that Thorn was attacking our sentry from the side. But, hey. I guess we're going to go with increasing our torrent damage. Yeah, I did not realize that I have died a lot in this game. This isn't the best way to show off Alani, as I can clearly see right now. We are not really showing off Alani that well. But you do get the general idea of what this character is capable of, more or less. And we do have our ultimate now, so we're going to go ahead and start stacking this up. We're going to start hitting all these guys. And because we can, we're going to go ahead and throw our ult down here to try and push back this wave of enemies. So you can see it puts down this very large AoE effect after the dragon comes in and just kind of kills them all. So it's pretty easy to push back an entire wave just by yourself. And there we go. We've got Galilea there. Now we're going to try and go for the enemy Alani. Got her. Going to try and heal ourselves by looking straight up. And we've almost got our ult back. Oh, she used her ult on me. Well, that sucks. But we've almost got our ult back up, and we just used it on the creep wave before that fight. So you can kind of see just how much. You can see just how much that kind of hurts things. And we're going to go ahead and get refresher here, because we move through our pool of water quite a bit, so that'll help us get more osmosis stacks. But that's my general thoughts on Battleborn so far. It needs quite a few more balance changes to make things less of a visual clusterfuck. I do like the game. Like, I want that to be clear. I like this game, and I want it to be better, but its peak viewership on Steam was like 2,000. Which, Borderlands 2 has more people than that. Which is a little bit underwhelming, to say the least. So I would like to see some changes to this, but I just feel like it's too much. There's too much going on, and it kind of overwhelms the people watching, pretty much. And we're going to throw an ult down there. And we're just going to have that kind of going. There we go. And also, I hate the fact that you can choose to surrender. This really needs to not be a function. Like, some people want to play the game, but if people say, oh, I would like to surrender, then it's going to happen. A lot of times you will see people surrender rather than try and pull back a victory. Because, I mean, yeah, we're not ahead right now, but we're not exactly doing terrible. We could easily pull this back. Quite easily, actually. There we go. Give you a little heal. Increase the heal amount, or increase the projectile speed. We're going to increase the projectile speed because I feel like I'm doing a large portion of the damage here, so we're going to keep doing damage. That thorn is doing work against us. We look straight up so I can heal. And we're going to go ahead and throw our little pet dragon there. There we go. So now we've taken out that entire creep wave, so they can't really move forward. But yeah, would love to see the vote to surrender just kind of not be a thing anymore, just because of the fact that it just kind of turns into this whole, well, we lost our first sentry. Well, I guess we're done. I don't want to play this game anymore. All right, so now we're going to go over to the side here, and this is where we can really start doing some damage. There we go. Oh, nope, we have a Galilea. This is bad. We got a nice little slow on her, so she can't really do much. There we go. Galilea isn't as strong as she used to be, thank God. But as you can see here, like, we're still able to kind of pull back here. And had we surrendered right there, it would have been like, okay, well then, shit, dude. What do you want from me? What do you want me to do? Okay, we're gonna increase the area of effect rather than the detonation time, because I feel like we can maybe mess around with that a little bit. That way we can try and hit multiple people if they're kind of stacked up there. In fact, let's go ahead and throw that behind her. Yep, and we actually do end up getting her just because of that increased size. And I am probably gonna, nope, might die. Oh, I didn't heal myself because I didn't look straight up before hitting my heal. That's gotta stop. That's gotta stop. The fact that I have to look straight up into the sky to heal myself is a little awkward. And I can imagine on a thankfully, you know, I'm on a mouse and a keyboard here, so I can just, you know, one little push of the mouse and I'm looking straight up. But on a controller, that can be a little annoying and a slight bit disorienting. It's like, hey, you need health? Okay. Make sure you're not targeting anybody. Make sure you're not targeting anybody. Make sure you're not targeting anybody. Okay. Keep healing. Keep healing. Keep healing. Keep healing. Okay, now you can go. Now you gotta remember where all the enemy was. And that's simply because of the targeting feature. You have no way of actually healing yourself. And I don't like comparing this game to Overwatch, but I do like how they kind of handled the whole healer needing a heal thing. Which, if you don't know how that works, basically they have two healers. They have Mercy and they have Zenyatta. Zenyatta has most of his health is a shield, and it just regenerates after a short bit at a time. And Mercy has a little bit of health regeneration, but the longer that she doesn't take damage, the more she ends up healing. So she doesn't have much health, so if you burst her down, it's really easy to kill her. Unlike Miko, who can just build himself as a goddamn tank. But the longer that, you know, she doesn't take damage, she'll just get a full heal by herself and doesn't have to worry about trying to deal with all this stuff. I don't know where I threw that ult. It's a little weird. Oh, hi. How are you? Here, let me just heal myself real fast. Are you getting a helix point right now? Is that what you're doing? Oh god, this is bad. Nope, we're good. We're good? We're not good. Look straight up. Get that heal. Look straight up. Keep getting that heal. Jump and heal. Jump and heal. Oh, there was an Oscar Mike.
We've engaged a thrall mercenary.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a couple of issues with Battleborn right now. I feel it becomes a little bit too much of just like a tug of war, basically. Meltdown, however, is a little bit better on things because of the fact that it's not just it has two lanes, basically. It does have two lanes. If Incursion had been a two-lane path where, let's say, basically, you know, minions would come from that side and this side, I feel it would have been a hell of a lot better. That way you could actually, like, split up your offense here and not just funnel into one area. Because as an Alani, I've just got this massive little, you know, sweep that I just throw down lane. Now, they have more kills than us, so we have to deal some damage to them. Oh. I don't know where I'm throwing that ult, but it's going down. Well, Isaac's sitting on top of it. There we go. Try and deal some damage here. Try and kill stuff. I also feel like that once the surrender kind of goes out, people have just kind of resigned themselves. They're like, all right, we've lost. Not gonna try anymore. I could have sworn I hit her. She took damage. Wait, gotta heal myself. Gotta heal myself. Oh, hold up. Hold up. Gotta heal myself. That right there is what I don't like. Is that my method of healing myself pretty much means I can't see what the hell is going on around me.
Enemies have engaged with thrall mercenaries.
Not to mention that sniping is basically more or less non-existent in this game. You can't really have a sniper because you can't get headshots through shields, and it doesn't feel like... Sniping doesn't feel satisfying inside of Battleborn. It really doesn't. Because you have to constantly hit them over and over and over and over again. I'm going to hit no against this, but if one person says yes, then it doesn't matter. Yep, see? It does not matter. If I wanted to keep playing the video game, it did not matter because the other three people pretty much said, nope, I don't want to play this video game anymore. So I hope we're gonna just talk a little bit more now that I don't have to, you know, do the gameplay of stuff. Battleborn, it needs some changes. Sniping needs to feel a little bit more satisfying by the fact that you have to hit someone like 8 times in the head to kill them sometimes. And that's if they don't have a healer. If there's a Montana, I have to constantly headshot Montana in order to get an actual kill. You know, that's... Whereas, again, I don't like comparing to Overwatch. They are completely different games. But at the same time, if you snipe someone in the head in Battle or in Overwatch as Widowmaker, it feels satisfying because you do a massive amount of damage. Here it's just like, oh, there's a little bit extra for you. Because if you think about it, if you're playing as a sniper and you're sitting on a perch, basically, and you're looking down and you hit somebody, they are now aware of your location. Doesn't matter if you lined up the perfect shot, you've now done half of their shield. You have not even like done that much. They're now aware of your location and they're going to start running around, which all of your follow-up shots are not going to be that great. So it becomes basically pick the character that can just spam damage, which is your Alani, your Galilea, your Toby, your Thorn. It becomes a massive tug of war of damage, I feel. And I don't know if that's the direction they want to take this thing, but if they do, then I guess that's it. Now, the overall thoughts on the character itself, the new character Alani. I like where she's going. She's not really a healer, though, that much. The fact that we have to, we have to do so many hits to actually do a nice little burst heal, I don't really see her that much as a actual healer per se. She's a DPS caster with healing abilities. I wouldn't really classify her as a healer. Support, yes. Support, yes. But dedicated healer, not so much. She's not going to be able to really help push a line back that much. And it visually hurts me to try and do healing in this game when everything is just so bright and so disorienting. But the actual character itself, I'd say is a good character. Not a dedicated healer, more of a DPS caster. The changes in Battleborn that they've made so far are good, but I feel like there's a lot more that needs to be made. There's a lot of steps that need to be taken in order to get the game to where it needs to be. Personally, I feel like the game could have done a lot better if it had launched 15 days from now. And they just spent all that time getting data. And they let the open beta last a little bit longer to get more of that data. Because we knew Galilea was broken from the technical tests, we knew Galilea was broken from the open beta, we knew Galilea was broken at launch. And it took a month after launch before we finally got her back down to where she needed to be. And now she's not, ridiculously fucking overpowered, which is nice. Same thing with Galt. So those are my thoughts and opinions on Battleborn. I like the game. I would like to see more happen with it because it does need a lot of work right now. In my personal opinion, I do feel like Overwatch had a fairly negative effect on this game. If that's true, I don't know. I don't get to see things, but I can see the Steam stats of the peak players going from 5,000, 4,000, 3,000, 2,000, which, isn't the greatest. But I like I said, I like the game. I want to see more, but I don't know how well that's going to work. At the time of recording this, let's go ahead and see what the actual peak viewership for Battleborn actually is. At the time of recording this, 2,500, which isn't that great when you look at Borderlands 2, which is currently 9,200. A game that came out 3 years ago. It's a game I want to like, but it's got some massive issues. Got some fairly massive issues. Anyway, I don't want this to turn into a rant. I've kind of given my thoughts on it. I'm trying to be as, like, unbiased as possible with these opinions here. I like the game. I like Battleborn. I want to see it better, basically. I want to see it better. This was definitely an experiment for Gearbox, and it's definitely a new kind of area to be in, but at the same time, it's a little bit awkward. Anyway, thank you so very much for watching. You've all been wonderful. Thank you for listening to my video on Alani and Battleborn thoughts and opinions so far. So, yeah. Thank you so very much, and I will catch you all in the next video, everybody. Later.